there was a very large segment of American culture that was like, soccer is not our sport. It's a communist sport. It's a sport for Europeans. It's this and that, coding it as anti-American almost, be like outside of American identity because it wasn't manly enough or whatever. And to see a club in Texas wrap itself in rodeo themes and lean into all of that, and also for faith-based clubs in that part of the country, if to go embrace the game, I think that's indicative of something about how far soccer has come as just part of America now.
New era of soccer fandom here in the United States. There certainly seems to be a change or a shift of folks that are gravitating towards the world's game. And we're going to take a look at Texas, as there's a few different teams kind of have a different maybe bent than we'd see from folks that were drawn to soccer in the past. And I think we'll start off with a badge reveal for a team we've talked about on the show before, but Rodeo FC in Celina, Texas revealed their official badge just recently.
There's a lot going on here. Now, we covered Rodeo FC, SC, excuse me, they are a soccer club. We covered Rodeo SC because we heard about this. Remember, this was all Texoma was folding or leaving professional soccer. We had the team in McKinney, which is a summer club under the Michael Hitchcock family of clubs. We had Atletico Dallas, which at one point was supposed to play more in the suburbs, but is now going to be in the Cotton Bowl. And we were trying to get a handle on what exactly is going on here in Texas. There's so much stuff happening in Texas. They do it bigger everything's bigger in Texas. That's what I've been told.
Indeed.
And so we noted this club, and we picked out pretty early on, Rob, that this club is interesting in its positioning as a faith-based club, an evangelical coded soccer club in Texas. Now, that's not necessarily obvious here from the badge, but it is obvious in other places on their website. But we get this explainer, the belt buckle. Aren't belt buckles usually the other way? Like this one is long up and down. And isn't a belt buckle usually more long side to side, more horizontal? Rob, am I wrong about that? I'm not a cowboy. I don't know.
I was just picturing you in some chaps, so got to move away from that pretty quickly. But that belt at the top of this badge looks like that would be cutting into the tummy there.
That's what. So Dwayne's got my back on this. That badge looks like a belt buckle. They say it's a belt buckle, but it looks like it's turned the wrong way.
It looks like the archway over like the entrance to a ranch to me.
Also, Sluggo saying it's the wrong way. Armando said it should be horizontal instead of vertical. Question here from Riverside Grove: is this club in RGV? No, it is not. This club is just outside Dallas. Celina is 40 miles from Dallas? So it's an exurb, I would call it, of Dallas, Texas. So this is Metroplex club entering the picture here. So we get the rope as the border, explained there, used across all of rodeo and everyday work life to complete tasks around the ranch. The bull rider. And again, this seems to be an outgrowth of a group of people involved in an actual rodeo, right? So they're not faking the rodeo thing in the sense that they are rodeo people, and they decide to launch a soccer club, and their rodeo organization is faith-based, very obviously faith-based. In fact, if you go to the Rodeo SC website, Rob, and you look at one of those banner pictures, sort of a background image, you can see a couple of rodeo doers. What? Cowboys, sorry.
That's the one.
And one of them's got a cross on his back, on his vest that he wears for protection. We got the bull rider. Two worlds collide as the bull rider and the ball come together. Why an orange ball? Is that just a color scheme issue? Like you got to have an orange ball to like connect with the badge colors? I don't know. I think of orange ball and I think of snow soccer, Rob. And that's not what we got here.
That's definitely not what we have here in Texas. Yeah, they don't have a lot of snow games. And when I saw this initially posted, a lot of the reaction was to that orange ball, asking what's the deal with that?
Yeah, orange ball. And somebody also pointed out, let me go back to this. The bull seems to be heading the ball into the ground.
Maybe he's going for a flick. He's going for a flick.
Okay. Flick. So one of those. I'm on the ground. I got knocked down, and I can't. My feet are behind me. I got to go flicking the ball with my head. All right, I guess that works. There's some further explanation of the badge. Now you mentioned
this is Nate's got it here.
Oh, it does have some Colorado caribou. It's actually the caribou of Colorado, right? Or
yeah,
something
you're
like
right.
the caribous of Colorado. Caribou is plural or caribous? Which one?
Let's go caribous.
I think it's caribou. I don't think there's an S on there. All right, you mentioned. So, what kind of fan, what kind of supporter is Rodeo SC? By the way, USL League One, correct, Rob? Just make sure we put them in their proper context. This is going to be a USL League One entry. They are set to play in 2027 at Bobcat Field in Celina, Texas. Bobcat Field is a public high school field, I believe. There
has to be 7,000.
Well, that they do big stadiums for sports in Texas. They do. I know that they've got football stadiums for high school football that are nicer than some professional sports stadiums in other parts of the country. So that's how they do it in Texas. So USL 1, we've seen the badge. What about the fans, Rob? Should we get a taste of what kind of fans they might be attracting, what their supporter groups might look like?
Yeah. What would you say would be the supporters group name? What would be the logical fit for the supporters group name for a rodeo-based or themed soccer team?
Buckle up, guys.
Yeah, here we go.
Up. Here we go.
This is Angel M. Olvera. My name is Holden Grant, and I'm a rodeo clown.
And I am a rodeo clown.
The Rodeo Clowns, we are the hottest supporters group in the United States. I guarantee it.
They posted the name Rodeo SC, and I saw it. I was like, oh, well, the name's got to be Rodeo Clowns.
You can't have a rodeo without clowns.
Awesome, captivating, fun, entertaining, passionate. Thank you.
And there you go. That is the reaction to Jason Davis's face watching that was worth the money of admission to today's show.
I am a live and let live kind of person, Rob. I think if you are living your life and you are not harming other people in the process, you should be able to do whatever you want, right? Right. Yesterday was the International Trans Visibility Day. I think it's a worldwide thing. There was lots of conversation. We're living in this moment where people are trying to erase trans identity. Nope, we should celebrate everybody, all trans people. Welcome. You want to come over and watch soccer with me? Let's go. I'm okay with anybody's identity, again, as long as they are not harming other people in the process of their identity. And I'm having a hard time not making fun of the rodeo clowns. And I don't want to. I don't want to make fun of the rodeo clowns. I don't. I want to be positive about it.
I like that they're definitely opening themselves up for that, for having.
It's not, by the way, it's not about the way those guys. It's not about the way that those guys look. It's not about the way that, nothing about that. There are only two guys in the entire video, so just two, right? Yeah,
they're going for it. I mean, the music that they selected for that introduction video on the silly side, but I see our channel members are favorable. There, a lot of them are saying that's some fun. And in Matt, custom overalls. Hey yo,
that's the thing. There is absolutely an element of this is goofy and ridiculous and cringy in the way of I'm a soccer fan and I care what other soccer cultures think of me, and I don't know if I want this attached to me as an American. I'm not saying that's my attitude, but that certainly is a place people go, right? In American soccer, we have a lot of gatekeeping. We have a lot of people who say, oh, you have to do soccer this way, right? Even the idea of learning chants through chant sheets is something you're not, that right there is something you can't do in American soccer, or you'll be called fake or ridiculous. Or again, just being an American who likes the game is somehow something to be ashamed of if you are interacting with other soccer cultures, because they have their presumed way it should work. And Americans are all crazy. I mean, it's like Chris Richards saying Chili's is America, and some people embracing that and going, absolutely. Chili's is America, and other people being, I'm so embarrassed. that Chili's is America. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I struggle with that a little bit. Now, Rodeo Clowns as a name sounds ridiculous, but I understand that if they're leaning into the rodeo identity of the club, Rodeo Clowns are very important. They serve a critical role in the rodeo. What little I know about the rodeo, right? So
yeah, the rodeo or the cowboys, they're the ones that save the performers. They're the ones that distract or uplift them, and they also take a lot of the hits for the cowboys and the main performers. So I could see how it does work in a way, obviously, and also in a way it separates themselves from the traditional European or kind of MLS-centric supporter as well. So carving their own lane in a sense of they're going to do it their own way within the branding of their local soccer team.
Yeah. I mean, again, I get a little bit uncomfortable with the club setting itself up as having a faith-based element to it, because that can very quickly get exclusionary, if you're not careful with it. I don't know. Well, hopefully that's not a thing. I don't want to prejudge anybody. That's part of this. By the way, that video was dropped on February 23rd, so it's a couple months old at this point, which is good. Obviously we're getting into it now, Rob, but I just want to point out before we have to move on, today is April Fool's Day. So be very careful what you come across and process. Rob got today, guys. Rob
like
got
10 seconds. I just shared the link a little too hastily. That's all. I figured it out. All right. I figured it out. Right. And there's a couple of little side notes of other teams that are faith-based popping up in the league for clubs and all that, but we've run out for time. But there's a new movement perhaps in soccer fandom happening in Texas.
And I think I'm sorry, I know you're moving us on and we got to talk to Steve. But I do think there's something interesting to consider in terms of where soccer is positioned in America, because I'm old enough to remember, you see the gray in my beard, when, there was a very large segment of American culture that was like, soccer is not our sport. It's a communist sport. It's a sport for Europeans. It's this and that, coding it as anti-American almost, be like outside of American identity because it wasn't manly enough or whatever. And to see a club in Texas wrap itself in rodeo themes and lean into all of that, and also for faith-based clubs in that part of the country, to embrace the game, I think that's indicative of something about how far soccer has come as just part of America now.